You stand in a smoky temple, pressed between chanting voices and swirling incense. Statues of gods line the walls. Priests pace, scattering grains, ringing bells. Around you, hundreds bow in ritual. Offerings, prayers, the endless cycle of tradition. But somewhere, hidden behind all this noise, is a single sentence so radical it could silence the whole room. You are that. Not your body, not your name, not your story, something deeper, something most Hindus will never hear. How did this idea, the secret at the heart of Advaita, almost vanish from everyday life? How did a philosophy older than temples, more radical than any ritual, become a distant echo, barely whispered in the places where it was born? If you want more explanations like this, subscribe and hit like. Today, you'll trace the strange journey of Advaita, how it was forgotten, why it stayed hidden, and what happens if you finally see what it's pointing at. Imagine a time before temples. The earliest saints of the Vedas sat under open skies, asking questions as sharp as knives. What am I, really? What's behind this world? They wrote poems, not rules. Their answer was terrifyingly simple. Beneath all difference, there is only one reality. Call it Brahman, Atman, pure being. These are just words. But this unity isn't a story you believe or a god you worship. It's an experience you're supposed to discover for yourself. Strip away everything else, and what's left is you, without edges, without limits. But step inside most Hindu homes or festivals today, and you'll find something different. Gods and goddesses everywhere, rituals for every day, stories about battles, miracles, and duty. For most, Hinduism means devotion, tradition, identity. Advaita, the idea that all is one and separateness is illusion, hardly gets a mention. Why? The answer begins in language. The Vedas and Upanishads were composed in Sanskrit, a language most Hindus have never spoken. For centuries, only a tiny priestly class could read these texts. The core teachings, the ones that say, "You are infinite awareness," were locked behind layers of ritual, memorized verses, and secret commentary. Everyone else? They got stories, rules, festivals. It's like being handed a map, but only ever seeing the border. Then came the epics, the Mahabharata, the Ramayana, the Puranas. These weren't just tales, they were vehicles for values, politics, social codes. They brought gods and heroes into every village, every kitchen. Now, the infinite was personified, given shape and story. It was simpler to worship a god than to question the nature of reality itself. Over centuries, Hinduism grew into thousands of sects, with saints, miracles, and new rituals layered over the old. Some taught devotion, some preached action, some promised liberation through obedience. Advaita remained a secret current, flowing quietly beneath the noise. Only a few philosophers, like Adi Shankara, tried to bring it back, arguing that all these differences were like waves on the same ocean. But the world changed. Empires rose and fell. Foreign rulers divided and categorized India for their own control. British education, seeking order, chopped Hinduism into religions and sects, pushing ritual and identity to the front. The old unity got splintered once again. So ask yourself, when did the average Hindu stop hearing the real question? When did the chant, "You are that," become background noise to stories and ceremonies? Maybe the better question is, what's at stake if you never hear it? Because Advaita isn't just a belief, it's a kind of license to break out of every role, every limit. If all is one, then every rule, every boundary, every story is just a mask. The unity behind them is something you can actually taste if you look directly enough. But here's the twist. Advaita was never meant to be popular. It refuses to give easy comfort. It asks you to let go of your favorite stories, your identity, even your sense of being separate from the world. It can feel like losing everything until you realize that what's left is what you always were. Today, a few still seek it out. Some find it in meditation, some in books, some in a flash of insight that splits their ordinary life in two. But most will pass through temples, festivals, and lifetimes without hearing that strange, unsettling phrase, "You are that." Not as a metaphor, but as the secret buried beneath every ritual and story. So, the next time you find yourself lost in the swirl of bells, incense, and chants, remember, the most dangerous idea in Hinduism isn't what you do or which gods you worship. It's the quiet truth that refuses to be contained, hidden in plain sight, waiting for you to notice that you are not separate from anything at all.